I'm an alien. I take my coffee like Columbo. Like, I don't even put milk in it usually, or if I do, I'm putting whole milk in there if it's a latte. But the one that's like popping off in my coffee shop right now is pistachio milk.
Is that decent? No.
I haven't tried it, but everybody loves it. And the guy who is the barista guy who like is very serious about flavoring and like doing things properly so that you taste them. He has nothing but nice things to say about pistachio milk.
Oh, this seems like a con. This seems like it's a consortium. A secret consortium is built, like how the kale people built up kale 15 years ago out of nowhere. This
is real. This guy he has this delicious latte that he makes. It's like a London fog latte, and he has it for like 1 month because that's the only amount of time that he can get the very best like quality stuff that he wants to make the latte with. So he only has it for that amount of time. I'm saying a man this discerning isn't gonna like put pistachio milk on the menu just cuz. Yeah.
Instead of Mocha Joe, this is like Pistachio Joe.
Yeah. I'd trust that guy. Pistachio Joe, he's probably Italian. We like that guy.
Hey everyone. Welcome to the first Not So Common podcast of the new year. Alongside Alex Fasciani, Unpack Country. We're not doing these as regularly as we were. Our schedules are out of whack. Alex is very busy. Plus, he's making sure, his neighborhood's not going to catch on fire, which we'll talk about.
Dude, fucking hell, man.
And then I got stuff going on as well. So maybe we'll do these more every now and then every 2 weeks. We'll see what the quarter brings. Or maybe Alex gets sick of it or I do, and that's it.
Yeah. But one of us just passes away, and then the show's over.
Okay, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean I was going to drop dead. Or you.
I don't know.
You're
I don't know where you were going with it.
Well, I don't know. We got other ventures going on.
Maybe Alex will get sick, and then we just won't do the show anymore.
Maybe we'll announce a new podcast.
Yeah, maybe his lungs will fall out, and he'll just not be able to speak into a microphone anymore.
So what is it? 10 days ago at this point,
maybe more.
The fire started.
It feels like it's been like a month and a half. It's fucking crazy.
It's been almost 2 weeks. It's been like 13 days.
Yeah, it was like a Tuesday.
Tuesday the 7th.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
so
absolutely insane.
So like 13 days ago, because I remember I streamed on the 8th, and at that point it was like, holy shit, this is serious overnight.
Yeah. That was like election day, but with nature, where we were just like, oh no.
The election day results, nature day results.
Well, because what do? The fucking wind is blowing 80 miles an hour, and then the fire has started, and it's just off to the races.
Yeah, and then you have.
So you just pray that it doesn't fucking go to you. You know what I mean?
You have fire and preservation people, experts online, and being facetious, saying what they would have done to prevent it. But Alex, how are we doing though? Like, I know I talked to you, and you're not directly affected in terms of you have to rush and get ready to leave where you live, but people that have
family who has been in the warning zones. I've had family that's been evacuated. There's people like that I see all the time who have lost everything. You know what I mean?
People that like friends that that basically I don't have a house anymore or a property.
Not like close friends, but like people like that I'll see at the coffee shop all the time, or people, like people are losing fucking everything. And I know that for most people out there, you're experiencing this through like what happens to celebrities and famous people.
Or JJ Redick and other basketball players like Kawhi Leonard, like they lose their houses and everything. But that's not...
Or poor old James Woods, any of those guys.
The majority of people. And that's when I got on my streams that I do every Wednesday. I want to make sure, like, even if rich people lost their houses, it's still terrible. You don't want to wish that on your worst enemy, losing everything. But these are communities that are, a lot of them are middle class. They've been there for decades. These are not just all Hollywood elites. These are people just settled there.
It's families.
Ago.
It's California. Like Altadena, first of all. Like if there's a person out there who has anything bad to say about Altadena, this is not the time to say it. Altadena is a California, like classic place that is like been built like communities that fall into the tapestry of like the biggest city in the world. People that have been there for generations. Like watch like the guy from Up, like a city explode around them from like a cowboy town. And they're the ones who are getting their homes destroyed while I'm chilling in my like shitty apartment in the middle of nowhere in a basin, coughing my lungs out. Like it's a complete injustice. But there's so many. Like the vibe is depressed, right? Like the vibe.
Let's just give the number. It's 11,000 structures destroyed.
More than that.
But that's the estimate at this point that I saw. It was 11,000.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm looking
mostly,
at Cal Fire right now. Right now. We're past 15,000 structures.
Okay.
We're past 40,000 acres.
Yeah.
This is insane.
So if it's 15,000, 11,000, that we're talking residential mostly, and then you have commercial, and then you obviously have like whatever's local to you, schools, businesses, your local coffee shop, your local restaurant, your local diners.
Houses aside, places like Altadena, these businesses that have been there for 100 years, that are like immigrant businesses, like stuff like that just has like the true success stories that have been pillars are just
the American dream stories, people that came here 60, 70 years ago.
Back when the cynicism wasn't so crazy, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about before these. Obviously, these houses and structures could be worth a lot now. That's not what these families bought them for way back when.
And now they've lost any equity they had on them anyway.
Well, they still have the land value, which we get into. But yeah, the actual structure's gone.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So yeah, the Pacific Palisades is probably a similar story. I don't know much about it, but it looks like a cute little enclave where people lived.
It's a bit of both with the Pacific Palisades. Some of the biggest movie stars in the world live over there. Some of the richest people in California live there.
But then random people that had family houses there for generations. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It started as like a sleepy beach community outside of Los Angeles, and we got to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So those people are the ones who are really like, I'm not that worried about most rich people. Like, I'm obviously, like you're saying, like, I don't want anybody to lose things that they love or, their homes or anything like that. But
yes,
they're just going to go be in a hotel for a while or
they
to
have
one
a
of their
second
other
house
houses
or
whatever. They're probably so fine. But that's really not even like the beginning of what is wrong right now with LA being on fire. Like, even as somebody who's completely separate from it in any sort of, like, in a selfish way, I am completely unaffected. Like, if I woke up in the morning and I was like, am I good? I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm not anywhere near this fire. I'm not going to be anywhere near the fire ever. I woke up on Wednesday morning. It looked like Blade Runner 2077 or whatever that movie's called, 2049. Yeah, where it's just the surface of Mars, and I couldn't breathe, and the air quality was like black on the map and everything.
Like, you couldn't go outside. Like, you had to stay in with your air filters on, basically.
You could go, but like you wouldn't.
Couldn't breathe.
Yeah, you'd come home ill, right? And that shit sucked. But like, what's really crazy is that like the world can't live without Los Angeles, right? Like the way that culture works and the way that like it's very much like New York City or London or Tokyo in that way where like just a lot of shit happens in Los Angeles that affects everything.
It's the entertainment heartbeat of the world.
But not just that; it's the biggest port in the country. It's like a bunch of like.
Yes.
It's not. I'm not just talking about
port.
I'm not really just talking about rich people stuff. I'm talking about like the machine that runs our country. Los Angeles is a huge part of it, especially.
Well, yeah. You extrapolate to all California, but yes, then you drill down into L.A. In that area. No, I didn't think about that. How if this would have affected anything with the ports. I didn't think about that.
But I'm not even trying to talk about like what could have happened. I'm just trying to say that what really did happen was that in the midst of a disaster that was shut down any other city, that's less important to the global infrastructure, the vibe around town was like literally everybody just going about their business because like that was the vibe. Like there's no people in meetings be like, are any of you guys fucked up? Okay, good. Let's go. Like people, Uber Eats drivers driving around. Yeah.
That's a credit to what people band together in tragedy and in, that's basically the human condition. Most of us band together when times are tough and we look out for each other. And obviously there's bad actors that have not. People trying to loot homes and things like that, roving bands of gangs in cars. People have them on their cell phones, taping them, like rolling up to neighborhoods where there's some people there like, hey, where are you at? What are you doing? And they're obviously there to steal stuff.
Yeah.
And that gives you like pain for the human condition, but that's almost to be expected that people are trying to capitalize on human misery and loss.
Yeah.
And
there was a fucking guy, they bought a fire truck at an auction.
What?
They got fire. They wrote like the Roaring River Fire Department on the truck. They got like gear. They went into the place and they got like caught.
They were trying to say, "Hey, we're the fire department." They were going to steal stuff from houses.
Yes, they had like fire department shirts on. Landlords are raising the rent. They're sending fucking prisoners on $5 a day to go fight these fires. They're the reason why Los Angeles didn't burn more. But that aside, like everybody from everywhere else in the country is painting this as like, finally the elites are feeling the burn, right? But really, like the elites really just own this shit. And that's what I'm saying about Los Angeles. Like the world runs on Los Angeles. Nobody here could afford to like take 5. Life just went on. That fucking sucked.
You're saying it sucked because people couldn't. It's almost like you have to keep working. You have to keep moving. We have industry.
Yeah.
We have an economy. But
Yeah.
I mean, what's the alternative? Like that. I mean, I always think about New York after 9/11, and like I was there 2 weeks after 9/11 at a birthday party at a club where they hired you hear the band The Samples. You probably heard of them. And I remember being there. It was my roommate whose father had a lot of money, so he rented this club somewhere. I think it was somewhere in Soho, and we're driving in. And the towers are gone 2 weeks later, and the smell is still in the air. That fucking stench. If you weren't on the East Coast, Northern New Jersey, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it smelled for several months after that. And it's one of those things where, yes, something horrible has happened, but you have to continue on. The alternative is just, what do? We curl up in a ball and die. Like what do you do?
Yeah, but my point is just that, people are characterizing this as like a rich people fire when really...
Well, no, that's ignorance.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I didn't want to see what Fox News was talking about. Obviously, they're going to attack and say, "Oh, it's the governor or it's the mayor," and they're just going to say that they're to blame for basically hurricane winds during the driest season ever because it hasn't rained in L.A. in forever. And obviously you have to look past this ignorance and get to what actually is happening, what actually happened. And there will be an investigation eventually, like what could have been done better, what could have
There's obviously so many factors that go into an unprecedented giant fire disaster that costs $6 billion to take care of, right? Like there's a whole, like, of course you're going to find some administrative failings here, right?
Yes.
But boots on the ground, like Los Angeles is one of the most fire prepared cities in the country. Everybody worked their fucking ass off despite the strangeness around portions of what people are talking about.
Yeah, it was
budget weirdness, lack of water, all kinds of weird shit that people are trying to say.
Well, the lack of water, when people are like, "Oh, there wasn't water in some hydrants," I say, because hydrants are meant to put out individual house fires. They're not used. You don't open up all the hydrants at the same time to put out like 15 or 20 different neighborhoods on fire. There's not enough water to do that. Almost probably anywhere to do that. That's not what it's for. And water pressure is going to drop all over the place. I guess you can sum it up for this, and this is what it's going to come down to, is that if there weren't the 80 to 90 mile an hour winds that basically created, fire hurricane, they would have had the choppers and planes in the air that night to put out most of it before it could have spread. They couldn't. And that's it. They couldn't. They couldn't. You can't have helicopters up at 100 mile an hour winds.
You simply can't. Yeah, simple as that.
And that's what it comes down to. If you didn't have the 100 mile an hour winds, this probably would not have happened to the scale of what it
Not
would.
to mention how fast the fire spreads in those winds. Like you can't imagine. Like
you can't put them out fast enough. You can't. And plus, with everything being so dry, the fuel of everything. And people are going to say, "Oh, clear the brush," whatever. It's like I don't know if people know what some of these communities look like with these like steep. I mean, there is a problem in terms of development that we can talk about. This goes back 100 years, where they decide we're going to build up into the freaking slopes of the mountains in these valleys, and obviously that's bad because then the fires just start up there and they just burn down into the valleys, which is what happens.
Right.
But in order to clear all this brush and stuff, you're talking about these efforts on these on a scale that you wouldn't like. It wouldn't even make sense to try to do it in some of these places because of how steep some of these. It's not like it's all flat ground. It's not.
The only way that it could actually happen is like if the world had enough empathy left in it to like set aside a holiday where all of Los Angeles went and cleared brush. And the idea of brush being cleared being anything related to why these fires were bad. The fact that we're even talking about it right now is actually the result of misinformation that's being spread about stuff like wildfires.
When you have a pie chart of blame, like clearing brush would be like 1% of
it demonstrates a complete misunderstanding of what the fuck fires are in the relationship to the natural environment that's around us. Here's one thing. Fires occur all the fucking time, right? Like, it is on us as a people to stop creating the conditions for fires. That's the way to fight fires, is to get it back to how it was 25 years ago when they didn't happen that much. And we can handle it with the resources that we had.
If you had moisture in the air and it actually rained every once in a while, that would help. But I don't know how you reverse that. I think we crossed up.
I know a couple scientists that have some ideas. You know what I mean?
Oh, all right.
Like, the point is just that the point is just that there's so much going around about these fires, even as they're raging right now. Like, they're not fully contained. Eaton is getting close. Eaton's at 87 right now, which is pretty great.
Eaton wasn't as big, was it? That was. I mean, it's still big, but not as big.
It's. We're talking about 14,000 acres versus 23,000 acres.
Okay, so
so pretty fucking big. But Eaton.
Remember, an acre is like, people say, well, how big's an acre? An acre is like what, like three like house lots, kind of like almost like full house lots, kind of. That's almost like an acre. Like, what's a good sort of like in your head? What's an acre? 1 acre equals
like a school.
Let's see. I'm trying to see 1 acre to square feet. 43,000 square feet.
Yeah,
is 1 acre. 43,500.
An elementary school, maybe, or like a neighborhood park.
Sure.
So if you want to think about that, 14,000 acres. Granted,
it's 200 by 200 feet.
Yeah,
about roughly. So that's about like I said, that's like 3 house lots on my block. And like you add that together, that's like an acre.
Yeah, I don't know, like. If you look at the fires, you can see like the Eaton fires right up against civilization all the way down, and actually just crossed right into Altadena and burned a bunch of it, and they had to fight it in a flat neighborhood, right? Which is just horrific. But the Palisades fire, like I say, fortunately, in the least like positive way, because of the wind and where it is on the coast, sort of west of Los Angeles. It kind of like burned up into the valley more towards a lot less populated areas. So it's a lot easier to hit that fire. You know what I mean? Even though it's a much bigger, worse fire. And the Eaton fire was fierce because you're trying to save houses every step of the way in Altadena.
Yeah. So I guess we're past about, obviously the misinformation sucked. You can't take anything seriously on Twitter anymore.
I would almost say the internet itself is like, you have to go to like an independent news source that you trust to do the work still.
Sure.
That's where I'm at with the fire news. Literally, there's a guy on Blue Sky that I follow who's like a family therapist who used to be a beat reporter, and he's got the best news of anybody that I'm following, which is just an insane thing to say in the year 2025.
So I guess, knock on wood, we'll just say the worst of this hopefully is over.
Well, today is the worst day of wind so far, and while we were filming this podcast, getting ready to, a fire started and was put out in Los Angeles already today.
By the Griffith Observatory, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about?
Yeah. So, just, I don't know. I just feel like there's something that's wrong about the way this is being perceived from outside of Los Angeles.
Sure, and that's why one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this is to let people know that this is going to be bad for a lot of people for a long time. You're talking tens of thousands of people displaced.
Yeah, and most of them are not rich people.
Yes, tens of thousands of people because of a natural disaster being displaced, and whether or not it's going to be the new normal for California in general or Southern California, and then what happens to these areas. That how long will it be to rebuild them? I saw one estimate saying that it would take about 9 months just to clear all the debris out of some of these areas. Just to clear debris before you can even begin to think about rebuilding.
It's like a war. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a war zone. It's like it was like atomic bomb hit these places. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
There's nothing left standing besides spare houses or structures here and there that for reasons because they had better, up to date anti fire sort of building materials, or they had sprinkler systems going on,
or just nothing, or just like a fucking pure chance,
pure luck,
yeah,
of the winds, or they didn't have big trees, or they didn't have foliage built up to them. There was what they call it defensible area around their place.
Right.
So there are some places that on a street that did survive it. I've seen a picture of one house where perfectly fine, and then the 20 houses around it are gone, totally gone. So I guess the question is, what happens to these people? Are they going to be bought out of their land, and then like they have to take that money and move elsewhere? We can talk about insurance in the future in these areas. Like, will you get insurance in some of these areas?
No, you already can't get insurance. Like James Woods, right? He always makes the headlines because James Woods is like famously an asshole about the environment, right? He's just kind of like an ass. He likes to speak off the cuff,
Sure.
and he's just an old man who lives in his house. He lost everything during this fire, and I haven't checked in with him because I'm not a fucking masochist or whatever, but like he didn't have insurance on his house as far as I understand it, because when California passed the law ensuring that people would get good insurance rates that were not insane, the companies just, rather than offering insurance at the rate that they should, just opted to leave the area and not provide insurance.
Sure.
Because it's just too much of a risk for people who are already living there. It's crazy.
Yes. So then what happens in the future? Like, how do you get a mortgage in that area, or how do you get the loan to build up on your empty lot? Like, what happens? Like, I don't know. I don't have the answer to these questions. I have no idea.
I would seize the land if I was the state. I would seize the land, pay the people who own it what it's worth, and
eminent domain it.
Yeah, and just make it the beach again, because that is not where people should live.
Again, there's going to be a lot of things about this. That should they have built in some of these areas? Probably not. Basically up into the forest areas. I was trying to tell people back east. It's like, wow, these are like big mansions. The guys like, no, you don't understand. They built like Pacific Palisades. They basically built into the forest.
Yeah, it's like a hill. It's like a mount. Like if you go through the tunnel that leads to like Malibu on PCH and you pop out, you're like not in a city. You're like in like a fucking the island of the Blue Dolphins, except there's like mansions everywhere.
The island of the Blue Dolphins.
It's fucking
yeah.
like scrub, like coastal scrublands. Like it's like dirt and shrubs and rich people.
So if you want to, we don't want to start in a big downer, but this is very important because this is like, it's going to be I think it's already, they're saying it's going to be the
worst year ever of all time for any reason. Yes.
No, it's going to be the worst year ever for all time. In terms of just monetary costs, it's going to be the most expensive disaster probably in American history.
Of course, it already probably fucking is. It's insane what we lost.
I mean, again, tens of thousands of people displaced. Not just like, it's always obviously the North Carolina hurricanes and people lost their lives and are displaced, but the scale in terms of how many people, tens of thousands. I want that to sink in with people. It's like, that's what we're talking about.
The culture, the fucking decade, like the neighborhoods.
Yes, and the business is gone too. So you don't have the businesses to, like, if people rebuilt their neighborhoods, doesn't mean businesses are going to come back to service them. Like, you're talking, like, it's very tenuous building up. We've all played Sim City. It's very tenuous building up a community. All the pieces have to fit together with commercial, industry, and residential. They all have to fit together in a, you know what I mean, in a perfect sort of harmony. And it's hard to replicate that quickly. All right, let's rebuild this all in 3 or 5 years. You can't just do that. You have to have money come into the area and get it going again.
The texture that creates something like Malibu, like the sort of heave ho of something like that. The way there was like beach bums that became like fishing huts for rich people, which became like communities that move further down the hill. Like, you wouldn't even build the same shit. You wouldn't even build.
No, it won't look the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
all these amazing restaurants.
You don't know if you're going to have big developers buy out neighborhoods and just build giant condo lots up by the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, no more cute little suburban community with medium-sized houses. Now we'll just have condos lined the beach like it's Miami.
Yeah, the flavor is gone. Yeah.
You have no idea. Like, this is catastrophic. Like, this is, like I said, it's like an atomic bomb hit these areas. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to everyone. Like, it's, not to start in a downer. I mean, if you want to donate, American Red Cross is a great organization. I tend to use AmeriCares because you can select, especially with Red Cross too, you can select the specific cause you want to donate to.
Yeah.
So I did about a week ago, a little over a week ago, there was someone was doing a triple match up to $500,000, which meant if everyone donated 500,000, they would probably donate $1.5 million or whatever, or $1 million on top of it. So I donated to that one, and I haven't seen that, but yeah, it's going to be rough.
It's fucking nuts, man. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
If there's an article on the LA Times that's how to help those affected by the fires that has like 1 million charities on there, like that are really specific. Like you can get bikes that people will get on bikes and like drop off supplies to people in neighborhoods that are hard to get to right now. There's stuff that's like just purely for babies. There's stuff that's purely for dogs. There's stuff that's like getting people fed. Whatever like dumb thing you need to wrap your mind around to get you excited to go give some money to help some people right now, go do it. Because they really, really need it. And it's not a bunch of rich people you're giving money to. It's these poor people like this guy Greg in this picture in this article who's like standing next to his fucking house throwing buckets of water on his neighbor's house, which is in a fucking inferno in Altadena, and he's like a fucking 70-year-old man who probably retired.
Yeah, he moved there probably until he moved there in the 70s probably.
Yeah. So don't be blind to it just because it's crazy old Los Angeles, because that's not a real thing.
No, Los Angeles is a bunch of
It's a fucking blue-collar town, yeah.
A bunch of smaller interconnected communities that somehow form a giant conglomerate of LA. I don't know if people understand it. It's not like an actual big
not a city. Yeah.
It's not New York City. Like it's not
the
like
like
downtown Manhattan.
It's got the influence, but it's like in no way a classic American city sociologically, culturally, anything about being there. I don't even know how to prepare somebody to go to Los Angeles. It makes perfect sense why everybody hates it. Who's not from there.
It makes perfect sense why everyone hates it. I wouldn't go that far.
Dude, I don't know that there's a more hated big city in America than Los Angeles.
I think it's just because people think, it's the liberal elite.
Right. Because that's so crazy. What do you think the rich people like own? Like, why are they rich? Yeah. Like, surely you understand that it takes the credits of a movie, right? Like all the other people in the movie, the thousands of other people in the movie. That's who lives in LA. You fools.
All the people building the sets, doing the makeup,
costume people. Old people cooking fucking food for the
craft
crew.
Services.
Yeah, like fuck.
The drivers driving people around on to the sets and things. Assistants.
And you watch the movies while you're talking shit on the place that makes them. And you still watch the movie. And you're still throwing on Deadpool and Wolverine while you're talking about the Hollywood elites. Crazy.
All right. Speaking of money, silver spoons.
Did you get to the season where his house burned down because of global warming?
No, they're in Long Island. There wasn't. By the way, I think I looked up the picture on the intro. of Silver Spoons is like it's not in Long Island. Obviously, it's somewhere in like England.
Right. Weird estate that's their house for some reason.
You can't find anywhere in Long Island that looks like that estate.
Yeah,
where it's like all green pastures and a big forest around.
It literally looks like a place that would have burned in the Altadena fires.
But I finished the last season of Silver Spoons. And never have I seen a show. I've seen shows, jump the shark. Shout out Fonzie jumping the shark. And I don't even know what season of Happy Days that was. 3 or 4? I have no idea.
I feel like seasons were imaginary back then. I have no idea even what a season was in the old days. Like
no, there's still 22, 24 episodes.
Right, but you see some shows. It's like there was 4 seasons in 2 years, and some shows it's like they did 175 episodes. Over 175 years. Like I don't Columbo.
I don't think that was ever a thing. Well, let's put it this way: it was different in the 50s and especially the 60s.
Yeah,
because they didn't really have off seasons, so they would do sometimes 40, 50 episodes of a show to run it almost every week. But then it changed somewhere. I think probably in the 70s it changed. Where it's, okay, we're doing 22 or 22 episodes a season, maybe 26 to cover about half the year.
Yeah, and now
then
they do
have the
3.
summer off. You know what I mean? You got to give actors you can't have people working on movies every week of the fucking year. You'll drop dead. You need an off season because traditionally it takes about a week to produce. A half hour of a TV show takes like almost a week. That's usually what it is. But anyway, so never have I seen a sitcom where I was so into it And so like, wow, this is really good. This is like hitting all my buttons. And I'm actually laughing at the jokes and thinking this is very clever.
Not like ironic. Like you're actually
not
like,
ironic.
yeah.
Like, this is good writing. This is funny. It's performed well. It's surprising me in its creative choices. Go from, wow, this is a typical 80s slop sitcom by the end of it. I couldn't see it coming, where it shifted after season 2, which I think I said last time. But even then, by season 4, the whole mood of the show changes. They have a new rockin' intro. Like, they updated the classic intro, where it's like, that first theme song is so perfect for a show. The tone, the whimsical nature.
I would
of
play that song just on a playlist. It's like a kind of groovy little track. It's got some sick.
It's sentimental.
Lush.
Then it
it's
goes
nice.
to like you and me face to face, a couple of silver. It loses the plot.
You watch the 70s die in real time is what happened. That's what
Basically,
happened. You watch the death rattle of the 70s.
Because I always tell people the 70s didn't really die out till like 82, 83. You still had seeds of the 70s. Same for like 80s and 90s. You get a couple more years to hang on to it a little
92 is the 80s. Like, look at that. Look at anything from 1992. That's the 80s.
I think 92 might be cutting it. You cut off.
You're like,
but definitely 70s bled into the 80s a bit more. Like 83. It's like, this is kind of still, you still have people
even today.
You still have disco in the 83 here and there. So
yeah.
But
like
anyway,
2018 and 2023, they're not that different.
So first off, Whitney Houston shows up at the first episode of season 4 of Silver Spoons.
What?
And she's like, so that would have been
like height of her popularity, Whitney Houston?
Not the height, but like she's like rising star and famous already. Because that would have been, let's see, 82, 83, 83, 84, 84, 85. We're talking fall of 85. She's now, like, her album came out. She's big now. Like, people know it. She shows up in Silver Spoons. I don't know why. And so she's playing at a club. She ends up hooking up with the new Dexter Stuffins, the replacement from the original lawyer. He's like the finance guy.
He's older guy.
He's not older. He's like the hoity-toity. He's like, oh, I'm prim and proper. And
Dexter Stuffins.
And they make out in the episode. That was like a real. It wasn't like they weren't for real a couple. But it was like a real kiss that she laid on him. And so he wants to move back with her. She says, "No, I'm a Hollywood. I'm going to move back to L.A. Like my music career." And so they pretend they say, "Okay, we're going to be friends." You never hear about Whitney Houston again. But it was weird stunt casting, because by the time it was probably early season 4, that show was probably at the height of its popularity. I think it probably peaked around season 3 when I told you the show knew it was hot and cool. In season 3, that's when I was turned off. So then a couple episodes later, they decide we're going to have Kate, who by this point is married to the husband. What the hell is it? I always forget his name. Basically the man-child who they kept dialing back the man-child stuff.
Yeah, the Pac-Man dancing guy. Yeah.
Well, the arcades are gone.
Right.
She decides, I'm going to redo the house. They get rid of the arcade machines. They get rid of the famous traffic red, green, amber sign by the front door.
Yeah.
They get rid of that. And then they even make a point of, you're going to get rid of the railroad track, which is like the one thing people remember about Silver Spoons, is they had a big, awesome train that went around the house.
He'd like ride it, yeah.
They decide, no, we're going to keep that. But then by 2 episodes later, they got rid of that. That was gone. So you're like taking like the essence of the show and removing it entirely at that point.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we understand he's married now, but you're basically cutting this guy's balls off, and you're cutting off the balls of the show in terms of the point of it is like they are both Silver Spoons. They are both sort of like children in their own way, even though one's the adult. And it's like, why would you do that? And so it was so infuriating on some level. But now I said to myself, I have 2 seasons left of this shit now, where this is now a different show.
And so
this is now a generic sitcom where now Ricky Schroeder, or Rick in the show, Ricky Stratton, now almost every episode is, well, I'm interested in this girl this week, and how am I going to screw it up? Or am I going to hook up with my friend's girlfriend, and am I going to feel guilty about that? Or I met a new girl, but she's too perfect at everything. She knows 2 different languages.
They just forgot what the show is. Yeah.
They forgot what the show was.
They just got up their own ass of people being into the show and forgot what the show is. But that's the ropes. That's like the version of comic books where character dies, comes back, dies again, whatever. You don't really care because you know they're going to come back or whatever. Batman's going to be Dick Grayson for like 1 year and then he's just going to come back for whatever reason. Like things that you learn about American sitcoms is like there's a reason why there's only 10 that people ever talk about these days because all the other ones fall into this exact trap. Like exactly this, because that's why comedies barely get made anymore, is because it's so hard to nail them.
And just a small thing, but a significant thing. So they never showed the kitchen the first 3 seasons. The set to the side of the living room was the front like den, where the father would like say, "Hey, here's my new goofy toy that I'm coming up with for my company." That was all gone. So they went from that to having the kitchen, where it's more family oriented. We're eating around the table. We're cooking meals. Like, that's not the show. You've changed the show now. You've changed the DNA of the show entirely. Now it's like we're watching Growing Pains.
Pretty much,
we're watching Family Ties.
Yeah, pretty much every show that is successful that's a sitcom, or even, I mean, you can even say dramas, but I feel like sitcoms especially, if you are not true to the premise, like if you can't watch the pilot and then watch any episode of the show, you've lost it. You've lost it. Even It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which has been on for like
20 years,
billion years. Yeah, is like since I was in college, it's been coming on.
And they just did the crossover with the elementary school show. That's really good.
Oh, Abbott Elementary.
They did the crossover, and it's really good. They merged. And I don't know Abbott Elementary that well, but let's put it this way: the characters are written true to who they are from Always Sunny, with the same sort of jokes, with obviously no cursing and things like that, and less extreme stuff. But it's like a faithful introduction in that universe. And supposedly they did an episode centered around the same plot, but it's going to be an Always Sunny episode, shifting the perspective around.
Like a Rashomon?
Almost a Rashomon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take that. I would watch
people that know what Rashomon is listening to us are like, yeah, you go, Rashomon. No, it's more like we're going to do the episode of what happened from the gang's viewpoint. So it's going to be different things happening outside of that. If that
I was
makes
trying
sense.
to think of a TV show that did the Rashomon that I could use as an example instead of the actual Rashomon, but one did not come to mind.
Well, Next Generation did an episode that was Rashomon.
Okay, but then again, that's another 35-year-old reference already. Yeah,
that was a good episode with Will Riker. Anyway, so Silver Spoons then goes down this seasons 4 and 5 are almost a different show. Even season 3 is almost a different show. But now Ricky's like, he had a growth spurt. He's obviously like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old teenager who's only worried about girls. There's less like plots to teach someone about the world. There was one episode where his classmate that he's doing like a home ec project with, she gets pregnant, so it's a teen pregnancy angle in season 4. But that's like what they would do those things more often in the first 2 seasons where, wow, we got some real shit going on.
Right, but when the dad's not like an eccentric toy maker who doesn't know how to live, it doesn't really like hit the same. Then you're just, like you said, you're just doing Seventh Heaven or some shit.
But no, but what I'm saying is like that episode's one of the only highlights of like season 4.
Just because the writing works?
Because you're actually trying to tackle something a little bit serious, which happened a lot in the first couple of seasons. Not that we're not crash landing on an abandoned island somewhere. And like in season 3, it was like, what are we doing?
It should have been like he gets older and then he has to deal with girls, and then your man's like extremely inept with women because he's like a toy maker, like sort of like man-child person, and then
you mean the adult? You mean the father?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what should have happened in
Edward.
Silver Spoons. That would.
No, but Edward gets married. They get married in season.
But that's
3,
what I'm saying.
So.
That's so dumb. That doesn't make any sense. That's like the
hooked
opposite.
They hooked up too early in season 1. Then by season 3, they get married. I'm surprised they didn't have a kid by season 5 and ruined it by having a little kid.
What he should have done is fucked up, and then she leaves.
That almost happened in a couple episodes with the his like some woman he hooked up with in college came back. It was a 2-part episode that was in season 3 where like he kisses her and then he has to apologize for it. So there was a thing where she almost left him. That was before the wedding. Excuse me, in season 3, before the wedding. But anyway, so this is all to say this: there is an episode in season 5 that's a prototype Married with Children episode. That was actually written by Moyne Levitt, who co-developed this show. That went on.
And he's like, is he like a dick to his wife in the episode?
No. Little Ricky gets a job at a shoe store.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
He gets a job at a shoe store, and the shoe store, like the way it's set up, is
it a women's shoe store?
What's that?
Is it a women's shoe store?
there are women buying shoes. I don't know if it's directly just women. I don't think so. I think it's everyone.
Yeah.
But the way that it's set up, where the register is, it's like full like pane glass in the front with the open door. It looks 90% like the Married with Children set. It wouldn't be so shocking to me if they repurposed that set, because Married with Children came out like, I think it was right after. Yeah, it came out 87, and this show ended in 87.
So they maybe even were already just producing it, even maybe.
Married Children came out fall of 87, and this show ended spring of 87.
So they had to be in. So it already had to be in production for sure. At least at
least they thought about it.
Yeah, at least at some point.
The last episode was March 87, and the Married Children came out later in 87. So Ricky in the episode encounters a woman, I'll just say this, is way too hot for silver spoons. That's trying to buy shoes, and she like sticks her leg out, and I looked her up for educational purposes only.
Of course.
She wasn't a Playboy or porn star, which Married with Children would always cast in roles of hot women in the shoe store. But she had like this form-fitting, slinky dress on that was like, wow, this is really racy for this sort of show. And you can see probably the writers saying like, we're experimenting now with this episode. We're seeing what works for the future Married with Children. So that happened in the episode, and there was an overweight woman incident that they didn't poke fun at her directly, but around her being overweight, she couldn't fit into a shoe that was too small. Or I was like, okay, this is a prototype Married with Children episode.
Right.
In this way, they're
it's like softball Married with Children.
Yeah, they're sort of like saying, oh, this works on this episode. We can build a character around working in the shoe store. And so I was kind of like, that was the most interesting episode in season 5.
That's
then
insane.
It just ends on a whimper. The last episode, all of them, including by the way, Alfonso Ribeiro, he wasn't written out of the show by season 5, but he does nothing in like seasons 4 and 5. He is almost nowhere to be seen some of the episodes.
He's just not in it.
They didn't know how to figure out the dynamic of him being Ricky's friend after Jason Bateman.
When there's no more like fun to be had, then what's the point of the show? Like,
no, it's all about girl troubles.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to fit in friends with that. They even got rid of the dorky, nerdy friend. They got rid of him. He's like in early episode of season 4. He's gone again after that. He's in like seasons 1 through 4. After that, you never see the kid
guy
again.
from the first episode.
He was a nerd, like the third or fourth friend that would show up sporadically the first 4 seasons.
Not the one who makes fun of him in the first episode.
No, he's a kid that would get made fun of because he had the big thick rim glasses, and he had a personality though of his own, but he was gone after somewhere halfway into season 4. So like the whole show is gone. Like they just lost the heartbeat of the show. So the last episode ends on a whimper. They go out to a snow cabin, and then like it snows too much. They're trapped. They have to like burn all the furniture up in the fire so they don't die of hypothermia. And then they come home on the couch, and the 3 of them, Kate, Edward, and Ricky, are just like, oh, we're together though. And then you can tell they knew the show was done. That was the only season of syndication, season 5, I believe. So they can get up to over 100 episodes and get their syndication deal probably afterwards. But like this show ends on such a nothing note that I'm just sort of done with almost experimenting with these 80s shows at this point.
I feel like you just gotta like follow like the top lists, because Silver Spoons, man, like that first episode was gold.
You watched the first 2 seasons, and
you're like,
this is a really good show.
I never would have guessed that they were like gonna get married. That's like so harebrained to me. That's crazy.
I would say you watch the last episode. I'm not saying watch them all. Watch the last episode of Jason Bateman, and you're like, holy shit. This is some heavy stuff for a sitcom based around like 13-year-olds. Like this is basically saying, well, I'm moving away because my dad cheated on my mom again. And she had enough. We're moving to St. Louis. Like that's the plot of that episode.
That's crazy.
And him sitting down, like staring distraughtly at Ricky, who has like the perfect family, and he realizes my life is shit. And maybe that's the reason why I always talk out, and I'm always a sarcastic asshole, because my family life is terrible.
Right.
And that you don't see
first act
like that
of
after that.
First act of Arrested Development, right there, starting spin-off show.
Oh, enough about Silver Spoons.
You know what? I was going to say I had a show that I was going to suggest that you watch, but I forget what it was.
The whole run, or just an episode of Taster?
I was going to say like hit the pilot and just see if it gets you on that same thing, but it was, I forget what show it was. If I think
Was
of
it
it,
an 80s show?
yeah, it was like, like another like just kind of forgotten sitcom that I forgot. It was like something like Perfect Strangers, but it like wasn't Perfect Strangers.
Oh, well, no, don't forget, because I love Perfect Strangers with all my heart.
That's a big one in my family's
legitimately good
house as
sitcom.
well. Yeah,
That's underrated.
Balky's good. Look, whatever. I see on this outline that there's something else written here that I did. You didn't mention this, but I'm tantalized by the question of what's Pat's Star Trek Fleet Command Alliance drama.
Well, I love Star Trek.
Yes.
Fleet Command. I'm
Yes,
playing on
I
a second
do.
monitor here.
Yes,
so
I
I've been
do.
playing this game since almost February of last year. They sponsored my stream.
Can we talk about like your rank, like your success for a second? Like where are you at?
At Country Code on Twitch, everyone. Every Wednesday, retro TV commercials, 80s and 90s and 70s. Where my rank is, I don't know. I'm rank 40.
Do you hold like are you like an officer?
No, I'm not an officer. I was pretty high in my former alliance. We did an alliance merger happened out of nowhere like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Where it's like I got a DM. I'm in my Discord of my alliance. We have a Discord, and it's like, oh, we're doing a merger. We're only taking like half of us over to this other alliance, and I'm only picking those that are like most involved doing stuff in the alliance. Like, okay, I get it, but it felt like a bunch of. It was more emotional than it should have been to me because it felt like a mass firing at a company, and I've been involved with those. I've never been fired, but I've been around the word like, hey, we rounded up 25 people today, threw them in the room, and they're gone. And so it hit me where people came into the chat. It was not, to me, I don't know if the people running my current line is going to see this podcast, but it was not done well because it was done within 48 hours. And then like that morning, it was like, hey, this merge is happening, and unfortunately, you're not all coming with us, but you can go to this other alliance, those that aren't coming along. And it was just not done well. There was no... And people were confused. People were hurt and angry. There's like, why am I not coming over? Did I get an invitation? Then I had to tell people. I had to do fucking human relations. I had to do HR and be like, sorry if you didn't get. Which I wasn't the responsible person for. It should have been people running the alliance. I said, well, if you haven't gotten an invitation by now, that means you were not invited over. But you can talk to this person from this alliance and they'll accept you. And people were upset. People were DMing me upset. And I'm like, this is just a stupid MMORPG. Like that's like it shouldn't be like this.
But people give their lives to this types of shit. Like it's a lot of work you put in.
To me, why wouldn't it be? Because it's a microcosm for the human condition where people are shitty to each other in real life.
It's all imaginary. Yeah.
Why would they not care about like if it's a game, the stakes are lower versus like a job or being friends with someone, stabbing someone in the back to get ahead. Why wouldn't they be shitty to each other even on a game like this, where you're supposed to be friendly to each other?
Right. Look at the world state today, man.
It's just I've come to the conclusion based upon this, and I don't know, it's Martin Luther King Day, but it's also Inauguration Day, that there's just a certain percentage of people in the population, I think it's like 30 to 40%, that they're just not on the same wavelength as everyone else, and not all the same things. But for something like this, where how do you not care about these people, what they're going to go through, where you don't even give them time? We're basically ending this alliance will be gone probably within a day or two. It's going to be a ghost alliance, and we're taking the better folks away, and then the rest of you scraps. You can go somewhere else. Like what?
How long has it been around?
The alliance that I was in.
Yeah,
it was around for like 7 or 8 months before this.
That's crazy. That's so much time. That's so much like.
And I was one of
not
the founding member. I was like the 15th or 14th member to come over. I was bouncing between alliances. I didn't fit into some. And it's like, I'm not like, I play it every day, but I do it, like I said, I do it like while I'm watching TV or while I'm podcasting with you. I'll just glance over and see what's happening. It's not
a super involved.
Yeah, you don't have to play it like hardcore.
You're not like
8 hours
shooting
a day.
people in the head, right? You're just kind of like making decisions.
Ships go around. You put your ships, you mine resources.
Like a Clash of Clans type thing, right? Like a Clash of Kings.
Clash of Clans. I don't know what Clash of Clans is.
One of those ones where everybody's like in a group and you like do things that take a very long time, and the more people that do them, like the faster they go, and people work together and they achieve things as groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably the same feel. It's a free to play, and honestly, this one I have put money in it, but I justified it as well. I got paid to play it on Twitch, so some of that money will go towards me buying some resources to get ahead quicker. But I haven't spent money on this in 6 months.
That's pretty good.
And you can still, as long as you do the missions and tasks and events and grind, you don't have to ever spend a dime on it, which I give respect for.
How much hours? Like, does it limit your time that you can play if you don't pay?
No.
And there's always something to do.
There's always something to do. You can always play for free.
That's why I'm scared to get.
You just might be slow. You might be just slowed up in developing your base or your research, but like you can still just let it roll. It might take 2 weeks, but it'll still get done. That's it.
That stuff scares me. Like any game that's like designed to make me spend money, even though like you don't have to. I'm always scared.
Yeah.
But you're a pretty level-headed guy with that type of thing. You're like a guy who likes to point at a scam when you see one. So I don't know.
This isn't a scam. This is what I mean. This is played by probably millions of people.
So how many people how many people got fired, quote unquote? And we're not saying the names of this alliance, so there's not really.
I'm not going to say the server number.
Yeah,
we're
no
one of
worries.
the. There's probably like 200 servers worldwide for this. It was probably 30 people, and I was sad for a few that I don't know any of them really personally. You chat on the little alliance chat. You know, there's a global chat in the server, and there's like an alliance chat in the DMs. But I was just like, that's kind of shitty. And the bigwigs in the alliance like blew off to the new alliance. They didn't stick around to say either I'm sorry or it was me stuck. I was the one doing HR when it wasn't my responsibility. I didn't have to. But
just because you felt bad because you got picked.
I felt bad as a human being that, hey, these people are confused and upset because they're playing with us every day for several months, and all of a sudden it's not going to happen anymore. What's
the rationale?
Oh,
performance?
For the alliance merger? We merged with one of the bigger alliances, so us two together. That was an older alliance with less, but a lot of high-end players, higher leveled, and we have a lot more active, I guess, lower than that. And so now we're like this. This might give me away if you look at the server. We're like the strongest on the server now in terms of overall power.
So it's like a political decision. It was
absolutely political.
Yeah, like straight up, just like not like offline political, like straight up like Federation versus like whatever Cardassians politics.
Well, yeah, but it's all alliance versus alliance.
Sure.
So, but you want a strong alliance because there's a lot of alliance events,
right?
Where like, hey, you all have to kill this certain type of ship within 24 hours, and they add up everyone in the alliance, and you win. You get better loot. Yeah, we are the most powerful alliance by we are double the power of the second place. That's why they did it. It was totally political,
just to get better.
It was like forming NATO.
They were like, we don't care about these other people and all the time they put in. We're just out because we're seeing bigger and better things.
Yeah, because now we're the most dominant alliance. Like no one could mess with us.
It's crazy that even in Play Pretend that it's like you just gotta like get yours.
You were a slave in your one that you played.
That was immersive fantasy. That's different. Like
what was that one again?
Eve, right? Like where you're mining.
Eve.
Yeah, but that was like I was like, what is it like to live as a miner in a company? And I didn't like stick with it. I just like that was more like for me, wow, this is like exactly what it would be like to work as a spacer, and that was novel to me because of how complex, like how complicated the government is in that game and stuff like that.
But there were still probably alliances that were formed and destroyed. You know what I mean, and things like that.
If you ever want to lose a significant portion of your life, go ahead and watch the fucking. I think it's Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm not sure what YouTube series it is, but somebody did a big hours-long doc on the drama that happens in EVE Online. What you're talking about, like, this is
drama as well, but it's a smaller scale versus you.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't me. It was just like what occurred. Like tens of thousands of dollars were like going up in flames inside of the EVE Online universe. Like there was like a whole thing where like a guy joined an alliance for like years, working his way up to the top as a sleeper agent, and then once he got access to the admin controls, he like stole shit. Like there's so much stuff that happens,
and that's illegal within the game.
Yeah, because that's the game.
That's the game is to be underhanded to do things like that.
The game, not necessarily like you
but
can
you
live.
Can. It's built into the game.
It's one big server the whole game. It's like a place. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, this is individual servers. Like I said, there's like 200,
and that's paid,
servers.
And that's like a real proper game with a lot of features and a lot of different,
Yeah, they have new. I'm not advertising the game, but they have new events every week and month to keep you interested. And like I said, I'm having fun.
That's so funny.
Now let's do the ad break.
Condolences for the people that lost their careers in Starfleet.
You want to talk about the Trump coin?
A little bit.
On Inauguration Day.
I just, if only if for no other reason than just to continue the conversation that we had last time we were talking about Donald Trump, because I don't want to make a habit of like giving my thoughts on Donald Trump every couple months, but it is Martin Luther King Day.
Well, I like to make this a larger conversation about our population and the 30 to 40% that enable this behavior. That's more like I want to get into in terms of. So this is what happened. So they're all these meme coins. They're all bullshit, digital assets. They have no intrinsic value. They only have value if people buy more of them, and they lose value when people sell them. When more people sell them than buy them. That's how these things work, right? So he released this coin, and all the insiders got in early, and it bumped it up from worthless to it was like $60 per coin. That's what happened a few days ago. Right before the inauguration, the president does this to make himself billions of dollars off of morons that are just going to try to outdo each other to be the first in line, so someone else is holding the bag behind them.
It's an official presidential bribe line. Yeah, it already
crashed.
Yeah. I think they lost like $30 billion in paper money.
It already crashed. Yeah. So if you bought it at the top to get up to like whatever $60, it's already worth like less than 40.
Yeah, like
it's worth 38. So at the peak it was 63 or so. So it's worth, what is that, Pat? 40-something% less.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A pump and dump. Pump and dump.
Same thing with Melania coin. And it's funny watching.
Melania coin came up, and so people dumped their Trump coin to buy Melania coin, and then it also semi-crashed the whole
system,
coin market. I read.
Yeah. And it's funny because the you're seeing these tweets from these crypto bros that are like, man, like I wish Joe Biden.
How dare they?
They're like, man, this is really starting to make me feel like a little bit of doubt for what he's got planned for the White House.
Welcome to real life, crypto bro.
And that's just kind of the conversation that I wanted to continue, which is like, it's been one day. He already did a pump and dump in the official presidential bribe lines, which like now you don't even have to go. You don't even have to like pretend to spend money at his properties. He just do this.
Now foreign governments can just pump money into his coins.
Yeah,
and give him money that way.
No problem.
Because it's all quote unquote decentralized. So. To those people that are finally expressing doubt that this person maybe does not have your best interests at heart, that maybe won't lower the price of eggs, thanks for coming on board. Because this is just the start of it. There's going to be grift after grift. And there was grifting the first term. It just wasn't this blatant. It was just like, well, I'll just let my stupid son-in-law get paid by the Saudis.
We still just have societal
billions
norms.
Of dollars for my funds.
We had societal norms at the time because there hadn't been a pandemic yet. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like, or I'll let my daughter get all these sweet deals, patent and whatever trademark deals with the Chinese, and that happened in the first term. But this is just like, hey, we're just going to take your money, idiots. Buy this worthless meme coin.
I don't understand. I don't understand like what the platform is. I don't understand like how. I don't understand like what at this point could possibly be appealing to someone unless you just literally. Like I was thinking about this also. I was thinking about this the other day. Like
I can't believe he did a meme coin. It's like out of a movie.
All this stuff happens, and it's so much stuff. And I gotta just imagine that the real truth is like there's a bunch of people who use Trump as like an excuse to be mad at people that they don't understand what's happening.
Or wow, Trump is angry at the same people I'm angry at.
Yeah, exactly. So he probably has a reason why. And then like that's it. And other than that, I don't know enough about anything to care, or I don't want to know enough to care. Like any person that I've ever met who is like ride or die about Donald Trump, like never wants to hear the facts, never wants to hear the data, never wants to hear the truth, or wants to tell me your facts are from a wrong place. And I'm like,
sure,
I assure you they are not. Like, why do you think I'm voting against this if it's in the interest of you, the American people?
Yeah.
You know? I just don't get it. And okay, so far today, Elon Musk gave 2 Nazi salutes at a presidential inauguration rally.
I saw the video.
And Trump admitted to cheating in the Philadelphia election on microphone.
Oh, he admitted to what?
He was like, "Oh, thank you so much, Elon Musk. You went down there. You know so much about the computers. You did it. You helped me. You helped me get out there.
Oh, helped me in Pennsylvania.
You helped me out. You did all the best stuff. You
That's
did all the greatest stuff. You know how to do the computers. He's so good, Elon Musk."
Yeah. Where you been hiding this great impression?
It's not. It's not a great impression.
I think it's pretty good.
It's just that I have no shame. That's all it is.
No, I think it's pretty good.
It's a confidence thing, but that's really it. Is he's just like, "Thank you, we cheated."
It's basically a grift for himself and for his friends. That's what the president is going to use the office for. I just didn't think, again, it would be so blatant. Yeah, he was trying to sell his dumb gold sneakers and the $25,000 watch, which was like just a $200 watch that we're going to repackage it and sell to you for $25,000. You know, the Trump watch. Yeah. But this is just the beginning. So again, I'm not sad about this. I'll be laughing when supporters get taken for a ride after ride after ride the next 4 years.
Here's what I'll say.
I'll just laugh.
Here's what I'm going to cry and cry and cry because despite everything, I still care about you, idiots. But here's the thing. If
you disagree with them, you still care about your
I don't want you to go through it. I don't want you to go through it because I have to watch you go through it, and I don't want to. But here's what's up.
You're a better person than me.
I have too much empathy. I can't handle it. But here's what's up. I am the enemy, right? Like, if you're listening to this and you are like furious at me, I am from Los Angeles. I'm a liberal. I think that I know what I'm talking about. I am the worst one. I'm the worst kind, right? I'm pro-trans. I'm pro all the stuff that you don't like generic Trump voter, right? Here's how I feel about the world. I'm just going to tell you, separate from everything. Here's what I want out of life, and here's what I am. The reason I vote the way that I want to vote. Here is why I am doing it. I'm doing it because I don't want anybody to bother me if it doesn't hurt them what I'm doing. I want people to be able to hang out with their families and relax and hang out. I want people to be able to work and get money for what they do that's fair. I want people to be able to afford to eat. I want people to have a good quality of life like we've had the entire time that we've been kids, where we had a better quality of life than fucking anyone in the world. I would love to continue that. I would love to have the world be a safe place. I would love the economy to be stable and for the poor people in our country to be able to live without having to wonder how they're going to do it or to do more work than somebody does in China. I don't want people logging on to Red Note and finding out that the Chinese people have better lives than we do because they're making fun of us for having to pay for fucking ambulances. I don't want that. I want to be the best country in the world. I really do. I really want to live in a great place to live that's chill, where we can have barbecues and drink beer and hang out and look at titties and fucking do whatever the fuck we want and smoke weed and play rock and roll. That's what I want. What the fuck is wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with that? You can't just deal with the fact that trans people are somewhere. You can't just fucking deal with the fact that Mexican people are somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up and read a fucking newspaper. You are the architect of your own destruction, and it's going to be at your doorstep before it's going to be at my doorstep.
He's Alex Fasciani, and he approved that message.
Look, I'm just telling you. Like, this isn't about winning any fucking argument or anything. I care about the fucking people that are getting fleeced. I'm not even getting fleeced. I'm going to be fine.
That's where you have more empathy, even though that didn't sound empathetic.
It is empathetic. I'm furious with you. Imagine your kid just was like, hey, I'm addicted to fucking cocaine now. Imagine your kid was like,
well, then stop snorting coke. Yeah. You're like, no, I'm not.
No,
I like it.
You don't know what I'm. You don't own me. I'm gonna just keep doing heroin. Of course, I'm fucking pissed. I love Texas. I love that place. You know what I mean? Look how shitty it is there right now.
That's some good barbecue.
That's not fuck the barbecue. The people. I love the spirit of Texas. I love the exact thing that people from Texas love about Texas. It's fucking
the free
crazy.
Spirit.
I just don't mind foreign people or gay people, and I want to have barbecues with everyone. That's it. That's the only difference between me and you.
Barbecues with everyone.
And I read the fucking newspaper and pay attention to what's on the fucking paper.
People don't. So okay, so we're gonna see grift after grift after grift. The price of eggs and milk will not go down to where they were before.
Compare. Just if you're mad at me right now, just compare what I just said to anything that happens in the next 30 days, and tell me which stuff is closer to what you wanted.
I just want to remember that. Just be on the lookout for things that happen and what will actually benefit you day to day. That gets enacted. What will benefit you versus making him and his cronies lots of money by selling us out.
If you're like 85% of the people who disagree with me online, okay? If you're like in this vibe where you're like, Alex, I love your work. I think you're hilarious.
Stick to games.
Yeah, but
that's what I get.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with that when I'm here for that. Here's what I'm going to say to you people. If there's any respect that you have for me as a person, if there's any part of you that makes you think, you know what, just because he seems like a smart guy or he seems like he's being earnest, even just my earnestness, please humor me for a second and just ask yourself for a month, anything that you see on the news, how does this help me or hurt me? And just actually look. Just actually look. Just for a week. Just actually
I'm
look.
past that. I'm like, just give your money to wherever he says to.
Yeah.
Just give your money up.
No.
Give more of your money up to this stuff.
Don't do that.
I'm the anti-Alex. Give your money up. He's right. Whatever Trump says is right. Just give him your money.
Yeah. Look, it's not going to be
your
good.
Money.
It's not going to be good if you follow Trump. Like,
give me buy more meme coins. To the moon.
He's never...
Buy the dip, everyone. Buy the dip.
He's never done anything for you on purpose. Never once.
Buy the dip, everyone.
Yeah. Hodl. Hodl the Melania coin. Hodl.
Hodl? Is it Hodl or Hodl?
I don't know.
The Melania coin.
Hold on to your fucking...
I'm sure we're going to get a coin for the dumb son-in-law, and we'll get a Baron Trump coin, meme coin. We'll get all of it.
Give me $10,000. I'll give you a picture of whatever you want. Doesn't even have to be Melania Trump or Donald Trump. You give me $10,000. I'll give you a custom meme coin. I'll mint that. I'll email it right to you.
You want to do an Alex meme coin?
I'll just email it to you. It's just one of one. 10 G's meme coin.
Is it an actual coin?
It's a JPEG. It's a JPEG. It's good.
Oh, it's a JPEG.
It's encrypted. It's good. It's good.
I cannot believe the meme coin. Like you'll see people try to justify it even in the comments. I just don't. I'm just laughing. Like, I don't even think you think I'm an idiot. I'm not going to try to argue with you. I just be go do it. Go buy it.
Squid
Give
Game.
Money.
It's Squid Game, you guys. It's Squid Game.
Go buy it.
It's
buy
Squid
it.
Game.
Buy whatever he says to buy. Buy it.
Crypto is Mr. Beast's games. That's what crypto is.
Crypto is Mr. Beast games. What?
Whatever the fuck the real Squid Game show is called. I think it's called the Mr. Beast games or some shit like that.
Is it the one he's getting sued over for unsafe things or whatever? I read
it came out.
That's the Amazon one coming, right?
It came out the same day as
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it's like there's a running tally of how many people are left on the billboard.
So what are they doing?
It's the most tone deaf thing that I've ever seen.
The Guardian article. We're going to segue. Mr. Beast is from the Guardian. Mr. Beast's degrading game show is a dystopian nightmare, perfect for America in 2025. Wow.
Yeah.
This is the byline
it's
from
Squid
Jeff
Game.
Yang.
What did you think that show was about?
Amazon's Beast Games reflects the greed, narcissism, and worship of agro-capitalism that has brought us our second helping of Trump. That's from the Guardian.
Yes.
Holy shit. I got to watch this. This sounds amazing.
No, you do not. It will make you sick to your stomach.
So it's really like Squid Game, except people aren't getting killed.
It's literally Squid Game, except they have even less respect for you than to kill you. They just
they have less respect. They'd have more respect if they off to.
Yeah. It's more noble to lose and be shot.
Is it humiliating if you lose this game?
Watch the show. It's the most degrading thing I've ever seen in my life.
The feeding and housing of 1,000 competitors, hundreds of staff, and the rental and construction of an array of elaborate locations. How have I not seen this yet? This should have been a show topic next time.
The only reason I know about it is because at La Cienega and Venice Boulevard, like the busiest intersection, there's like 4 giant billboards of his stupid fucking face, and it's insane. It's insane. It's like 1/100th of the amount of money, and there's like already lawsuits, and the show's like still airing.
And you have a chance to win $5 million as a grand prize. That's the grand prize, $5 million.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
before taxes, that's nothing. After the state and feds get through with you.
In December, a portion of a tower fell on a crew member.
What?
On September 11th of this year or last year, the Ontario Ministry of Labour confirmed that it opened an investigation into the incident. There was a denial of food, water, medication, beds is all alleged. It's crazy. Sexual harassment, mistreatment, free overtime pay. It's literally Squid Game, and everyone is dumb. If you like this, you're dumb.
Is this game? So this game is still ongoing. It's not done yet.
Yeah.
So they narrow it down to one person out of like 1,000
Yeah.
contestants. What the hell?
People are just embarrassed that they don't care about stuff, and then they find out about it, and then they double down. If you can just resist that urge, we'll be in world peace.
All right. I'm just flummoxed by the fact that okay.
People get fleeced on the reg from Trump every day of their lives. Every time they wake up in the morning.
Fleeced figuratively or literally.
Literally, like you'll buy some people.
A meme coin is literally.
Some people are buying like fucking plates for $250 or whatever the fuck they're buying. I don't know.
There's
the
a
Bible,
plate, a collectible plate.
the
I
Bible,
know about the Bible.
Like there's all kinds of stuff that's just like it's not even like nice stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're buying like a fine piece of hate merchandise. It's like,
is there actually like a licensed collector's plate, like the Star Trek Next Generation plates from the 90s?
The Trump melamine.
I know about the Bible. I know about the Trump Bible. That's a real thing that he pushed.
The commemorative plate. I saw the plate. Hold on.
The Bibles are $59.99.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me? And a normal Bible probably costs you $4.99 if you go to your local church and get a Bible.
Yeah.
I saw some.
It's embarrassing.
I think they were questioning some senator or congressman that was trying to put Trump Bibles in one of the classrooms or one of the school districts. He was trying to get like the Trump or a very specific overpriced Bible. He was trying to put in the classrooms, and the person on the show questioned was like, "Why can't you just get a cheaper Bible that's like a standard Bible? Like, why are we getting this expensive Bible? Is that like not fiscal irresponsibility to do that?" And of course, they tried to like hand wave it. Oh, well, this is a better Bible. This is a better Bible.
Yeah, it's insane.
Boy,
it's insane. It's insane, and it's
this
just
is
merch.
crazy.
It's merch.
It's
like,
merch.
That's just
merch.
so weird. It's just so weird. It's bizarre, man. It's I have no problem with somebody loving someone. I have no problem with somebody having a beautiful dream for the future in which they and their family are happy. I don't understand how it extends to like fucking other people's lives up.
Is there a Trump Bible review? I want to see what actually. Like, I want like a real Catholic priest to review this Bible.
Trump Bible.
Oh, there is a review. I saw something.
The Gospel of Donald Trump.
Oh, it's so funny.
Thousands of Trump Bibles were printed in China as he campaigned against trade practices.
Of course.
Unreal.
Oh yeah, well, let's wait for those nice tariffs to come
It's called
through.
the God Bless the USA Bible.
Oh my God! Oh man!
It was
I'm
printed
just
in
laughing. I'm not
Hangzhou.
even angry. I'm just laughing at it. I have to laugh at it. It's just the funniest thing to me.
This is what I'm saying about like getting fleeced, and then you're like embarrassed that you got fleeced, so you'd rather just
triple down.
You just
on it?
step into the world where you didn't get fleeced instead of just being like fuck. Just change sides. We can just get burgers. I'm not mad at you at all. You know what I mean?
I'll also buy any former Trump supporter that switches sides. Alex will buy you a burger.
If you catch me at Twisted Root Burger in Arlington, Texas, I will buy you a burger.
Oh God, Twisted Root is so good.
Yeah, it actually is so good.
Oh man, I was disappointed that they did not have Retropalooza in Arlington because I didn't get to it.
Just because of the burger and the good pickles and everything. Yeah, sad stuff.
God. Anyway, I'm pricing out a chunk of my game collection. I've said this the past few years. I wanted to do this. Ian has been on me to do this for like 6 years. Even though I'm like, Ian, I understand that, but I have to like work on this book and other stuff and videos and a weekly podcast and things like that. But Ian's fun that way. He'll just chide me thinking I have more time than I do. But anyway, so as I've said before, I'm selling not my entire collection, like a chunk though. I want to clear out space.
Let's be reasonable. You're not in the game anymore. You're not like trying to like keep go.
Well, I'm not going to the flea market as much to buy stuff, and plus, I've sort of documented not everything that I have, but a chunk of that I have this stuff. But at some point, I will want to either move or downsize, or I do need cash for other endeavors I'm doing. A couple that you kind of know about, a couple that you don't. No, you know about I tell you mostly everything.
We'll talk. Let's say in terms of the audience, you don't know about this yet.
Yeah. Alex might know about a couple things working out in the time.
I already did the location scanner for one of the projects. It's all good.
Shut up. There's no location scanner. There's no location.
We're all set. We're all set. The crew's ready to rock.
No. I'm not putting people that live in Altadena to work. But
I already went down there.
But I started pricing out things about 10 days ago. I actually have a spreadsheet of my collection, and I'm using price charting, which is fairly accurate. They track sold eBay listings of games and manuals and boxes and complete. So even if you say like, hey, I own just the box and manual, or just like the game and manual or game and box, it'll give you the proper calculation. So it's smart that way. And so I've been adding things in. And this, by the way, this is not a midlife crisis. This is like a midlife audit, I like to say.
It seems like this is like pragmatic and like sensical.
Yes, because I'm not just selling everything I have. I'm going to keep the stuff I love.
It's not a gesture,
Yeah, I'm going to keep it about half by volume, maybe a little bit less. But because talk about volume, talk about like big box consoles and stuff. But I started pricing things out, and I think I started with Game Boy. And okay, I started 8 days ago on the 12th because I had the price added date here, and I'm going to price out. I'm not going to sell everything from some of these sets, but I wanted to price out everything to get perspective, and then I'll pick and choose what I want to save. So I was shocked, and this is being someone who's considered someone who's knowledgeable about a lot of these game prices. I'm shocked by how much some of this stuff is worth, and this isn't humble bragging or regular bragging. This is more of a come to Jesus sort of a moment where I'm like looking at a box of Game Boy games. Where it's like, that box of Game Boy games is worth like $9,000. What the fuck am I doing? And that box, and it's like that box of Game Boy games wasn't displayed nicely. It wasn't like a centerpiece.
It was just a rando box.
It was a box in a room sitting there for years, accumulating or depreciating in value, but just sitting there. And extrapolate that out to all the other boxes in the garage.
You've got some insane. There's probably like 3 or 4 things that are crazy that you don't
Funny
know.
You say that.
We
did not
know
plan
about.
this.
Yeah.
Funny you say that. We did not plan this, but Alex has very good podcasting instincts, which is why I'm doing a podcast with him. I picked out 3 items from that Game Boy box to show you, and I wanted you to guess the price. And obviously I'm picking out things that are worth more than you think.
Yeah, and you can see my hands. I'm not going to cheat.
You're not cheating.
I'm not going to look. I'm just using my pure gamer sense.
But like, and obviously I'm picking out these things because to me they're worth more than they should be. But just try to like unbias it and think if this was on average, like before, if we didn't have this conversation and
just based on the game, just based on the game,
based on the game in general. Okay. This is called Stop That Roach. This is an earlier sort of simple arcade style.
I would never stop that roach for the record.
Action game.
Yeah.
By Koei. It came out in, let's see. It came out in 94, a little bit later.
Are those the raid roaches?
Game. You want to stop that roach.
Are they the
roaches?
Raid?
You want to stop them.
Is that them?
Yeah, you got some roaches there.
Raid kills roaches. Dead.
As either Ken or Lily, it's your job to battle those nasty roaches that have invaded your kitchen and are eating all your snacks. Well, that's not polite. Pick up your nearest household item, be it a broom or a bedroom slipper, and smash the bugs flat. So it's like you're walking around in a grid and you're hitting roaches that are next to you that are the same size of you.
And it's Koei. It's like Hey Uncle Alien or something.
Oh, you've heard of that one? I have that one too. That's the other one. So anyway, yeah, it's a simple game. 100 challenging puzzles to solve. Single screen game. What do you think this should be worth?
It looks like it's in good condition. First of all, Koei, good dev. I've never heard.
Well, I think it's a fake seal. It is sealed, but I think it's a reseal.
But it looks nevertheless, it's in decent condition. Sure. Koei, good company, good developer. Like it's a name. Let's put it that way. Never heard of the game. Like looking at it,
never heard of the game. Keep that in mind.
Never heard of the game. Gives me like the vibe of like something like Mole Mania or Hey Uncle Alien or something like that.
Yeah.
I would guess to pay maybe a little more for it, maybe like $40, 40, like a little high for a Game Boy game.
$40 maybe because it has the box and manual.
Yeah, because I never heard of it, and it must be something because
They're
it's
very close, Alex. $416.
that is amazing.
You were close. You had a 4 there, so you were close.
That is amazing.
$416 for this game. It's not a game with a legacy. It's not a game that it's like historical anyway. It's a simple Game Boy game. But the fact that I have it complete in the box with the manual, $416.
Incredible.
The cartridge alone is probably only like $50 if I had to look right now.
Still, that's a
Stop
huge
that
leap.
roach, Game Boy.
And it's but that's I don't know that sets off my like video.
I'm sorry,
game
it's
hipster.
$25 the best offer for just the cartridge.
Yeah, sets off
So,
my
okay.
hipster alarms.
Game number 1.
yeah.
Second to sports game.
Okay.
Jimmy Connors tennis.
Always a roll of the dice on the price for a sports game.
So by the early '90s, he was at the end of his career, but he still remember he made famously when
This
he was
is
like
Jimmy Connors.
40. He made the semis of the U.S. Open. It was like a magical run.
yeah, an amazing tennis player. Ubisoft, kind of weird.
He got a game on the NES, Game Boy, and the Super Nintendo.
That's got to be a real early. What year is this?
In like '93.
Wow. Okay, so
Like
Ubisoft.
the end of his career, basically the end of his career.
If I saw this at SoCal Retro,
Yep.
and it was not in such good condition, like if I just saw the cart, I would guess that the inbox one maybe went again like maybe like $30,
$30,
$39.99,
So you get 3 court surfaces: grass, hard, and clay.
just like Mario
3
Tennis.
skill levels, 2 playing modes: tournament or trading. You can use the Game Link. There's an extra space. I'm doing copy edit. There's an extra space with Game Link cable. So, and there's a password. You said what, like $30? Even in the box. What do you think in the box?
In the box, let's say let's up it in price. Maybe let's say it's $80.
$80.
In box.
$80 for Jimmy Connors tennis.
Unrated in box.
Again, you're close. $504. $504
For Jimmy Connors. Who's
Connors tennis.
Who's the buyer, for God's sakes? Just you?
Collectors that want the box,
Like guys
and
that,
manual.
guys that almost have every Game Boy game except Jimmy Connors tennis.
Finally, again, this isn't bragging. This is to illustrate a larger point of when you get to the point where
You had no idea that you had that. Yeah.
no, I know I had these games,
But not
I
that
didn't
you had
know the value.
$1,000 sitting there. Yeah.
I thought that I knew some of these. For example, I'll give you an example before I get to the final example. I had 2 rare games that were rare without the box on Game Boy. WCW main event, which is surprising as a wrestling game. That is hard to find even loose. I had that complete. And Universal Soldier, for some reason, they didn't make a lot of. But some of these other games, I'm like, well, these are all from a Craigslist. These are all from a Craigslist. Almost all my box Game Boy games I got in one of the. It's like one of the last. It's like being like the last gunman alive in like 1912.
Yeah,
it was the last great Craigslist deal of like 2011, right before smartphones took everything over. I got about 60 complete in box Game Boy games, 60.
Yeah.
About 20 NES carts loose, and a top loader NES for about $220, something in that range. I drove out and I got it about 20 minutes away when you can still look on Craigslist. That was like the last great deal I got on Craigslist. And at the time, those games were probably worth double to triple, like maybe $500 to $700 that 220 was worth. Still a great deal, but not like holy shit, like this is incredibly amazing.
Yeah.
But that was 14 years ago at this point.
Right.
The last game was not from that Craigslist deal, but I bought this at Game On Expo. That's the one Gamester 81 runs.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't, for
That's an
whatever
AZ
reason,
usually.
doesn't invite me and Ian to anymore, but that's fine. It's your prerogative.
Why are you going to start wars
What?
while I'm standing right here?
No, it's just the truth. We haven't been out there since like 2018. This I got from a seller who used to work at this company. Let me put the cartridge the right orientation here. It's from Wisdom Tree, the name you can trust. And no, it's not the Trump Bible. It's the Niv Bible
Oh, man. So
with the manual.
the
Carton manual.
20 lost levels of Joshua?
Oh, yeah, it has Joshua, which was another game Wisdom Tree put out, an action single-screen game.
Okay, so it's a Bible that comes with a pack-in like DLC for another game.
You want to read your Bible and play a game and have fun at the same time.
It's like getting buying Crackdown so you can get the Halo demo.
So Wisdom Tree made several games for the NES and also Genesis, and they made them also for Game Boy. What do you think a Bible game is worth with the manual?
So see, that's the thing about these Bible games, though, because like people like
or
James,
not even Bible game, just a Bible. You read the Bible,
right? But it's Wisdom Tree, right? Like people like James, who do like the more like meme-worthy reviews with the more comedy angle. This is the type of game that gets popular like that, like a Back to the Future or a Ghostbusters or something like or Castlevania 2, like a game that's like it's famous because of how notoriously lame it is or how notoriously crap it is or something like that. No,
but this is just a Bible again. Yeah. This is a Bible.
But it's still Wisdom Tree. So I'm gonna say like if I saw this and I heard, hey, somebody's got a Wisdom Tree Bible with a manual, and that's probably how it came, just like that, right? Like
there was a box too.
There was really? A box. Okay. Without the box, at most, I'm saying $75.
$75 with the manual? You
want to
bump it up a little bit?
At most.
Okay. You want me to give the answer?
Yeah.
$600 with.
What the fuck?
Without the box.
10 times the price of the Trump Bible.
And so when I bought it, it was a good deal. I think when I bought it,
$600.
I might have spent $15, $20, and it was worth $80 or $90.
That's a deal.
That's a deal, but not like, wow, this is now worth $600 sort of deal.
We should start a podcast where what we do is we try to find the biggest, like, adjusted...
Guess that price?
Like, the biggest adjusted for inflation, like, single transaction that you've ever made.
That ended up being worth the most?
Yeah, like I know, like, the
outside of the NWC cards.
That's kind of like beyond video game collecting at that point. That's like a historical artifact at this point. It prices itself into another class.
So take out the NWC cards.
Because that's insane.
That's too easy.
You can't even really price those because they're not like in a market like that. You know, like those are almost priceless. But this
well, they're not priceless, but I know
you know what I'm saying.
I know how much money I could get for them.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like that
would break the game.
That's not natural. Yeah, but
So I guess the point is not to humble brag or to say, oh wow, I had these games and I knew they were gonna be worth this much. You never know what this stuff's gonna be worth.
I would love to know
when I bought them pennies in the dollar. But so just pricing out like my Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, I don't even want to say the price of what they're all worth.
But you're a very secure man at this time.
But I was just like seeing them all line by line. All right, this game is worth $21. This game is $30. This one is this Stop That Roach is like $300 or $400, whatever it was. But then when you like put them all together, 350. I have 350 Game Boy and Game Boy Color games and manuals. It just sort of hit me. It was like you have to see it in front of your own eyes. This is what you have, and you're not doing anything with most of this. And that's when it hit me. Not that I didn't want to sell a lot of this anyway, but I just didn't know
the true logic of it. The true like, shit, I should really be selling this. Yeah.
Yes, I should really be selling Stop That Roach.
Well, that's how I feel about
because I'm not a big Stop That Roach aficionado.
Yeah. I'm not sure how it is. I'm not sure if it's worth the $500 that you could get for it on the market to keep it.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I feel the same way about my comic books. Like even in the few years that I've been really, really collecting them, the prices have changed so much. Diamond filed for bankruptcy.
Diamond, what, comic distributor?
Yeah.
Really? Is that because all the comic shops are going out of business?
Like, I think
they're assholes.
I think it's just kind of all like they put out a statement that was like, we don't want to do this. We're trying to save our business. Like, but
they don't want to do what? They don't want to distribute comics?
They don't want to have to file for bankruptcy. They're not trying to end their business. They're trying to continue their business. I don't know. If this goes down, I don't know what's going to happen to comics. I don't know what's going to happen to comic stores.
Is there another company that can do comics distribution, or would Marvel and DC just sell directly to each comic shop? Can they do that?
Like, there isn't a company in place really that has that kind of infrastructure for this. So it's an interesting situation
because you have to buy the volume directly from the publisher, and then redistribute out to individual shops.
It's very much like what the industry's backbone is this situation. So,
and this is the danger of having a monopoly because if they go under, what happens?
Right. Well, it's like in terms of industries that like are important to the economy right now, physical comic book sales not that high up on the list, especially the monthlies. But like I don't know. It's just sad. I just can't believe I'm watching it in real life. You know what I mean? It's like,
So what you're saying is I should, when I sell all these games, I should fund the new Diamond Comics distributor. Is that what you're saying?
if you're look, if you want to save comics for the 85-year-old people that are still out there reading them every week,
no, they're
I'm
all
sure
in their
they'll
40s
appreciate
and 50s and 60s. They're all
they're
you know,
85.
they're all the Kevin Smith folks.
No, 45 is about 15 to 20 years younger than the average comic book reader. I guarantee.
I think the average comic reader is probably 62 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Major League Baseball average age. It's like it's way too old than it should be. You know?
Yeah, 47% of comic book readers are over 40.
Wow, that means it's dying out when we die out.
You know what's even worse? So 47% are over 40, 38% are over 30, and under 40.
Well, then what's the percentage that are like 18 to 30 or whatever?
20 to 30, 16%.
That's death.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's really bad.
Yeah.
You need to bump that up 20% at least to keep proportion. You know, that's really bad. It's like the birth rate, the replacement rate. That's bad. That's not a good replacement rate.
I'm actually fine with a falling birth rate at this time.
Well, okay, we got away from my collection stuff and my I guess not my midlife audit about it, because this is what I've been doing the past 8 days, almost every day for a couple hours. Star Trek Fleet Command, pricing games, writing stuff for other ventures, trying to text Alex who doesn't return my texts or calls. Just that's basically my routine.
Uh-huh.
And watching the Warriors barely beat teams that are terrible. So I think I'll get to the point where once I make the deal with whoever the entity that buys this stuff, I will be regretful to a point. Like specific things, I'm going to let myself not realize the individual stuff that's being sold, but maybe the few things that still hook onto my memory or to my psyche, I will allow myself to then want to rebuy those specific things. And that's how I'll get over it. Maybe that's growth and development and not being a hoarder, because I can always rebuy 99.9% of the stuff that I'm selling. So maybe that's the way to let go. It's like, okay, if I really still want it, I'll regret it, and then I'll get the compulsion to buy it.
If you
that
must.
specific those items, you know what I mean?
If you must, yeah. Like
if I must.
Yeah, like I doubt that you're going to have that for 98% of what goes away, right?
That's the thing. So like I did regret, like I sold like my Killer Instinct Super Nintendo set, that the Killer Cut CD. I did regret that. I still haven't rebought it, but I sold it for way too cheap at SoCal versus what they didn't try to flip it for. But then I was like, okay, I might regret that because that's a cool set. You know,
yeah, it's like
with
sick in your actual life. You actually cared about Killer Instinct, so it's cool. Yeah.
No, but it was a memory. It had the Killer Cut CD.
Yeah,
which is
it's
an
hilarious
soundtrack.
CD. I used to get me and my buddy who's also named Alex. We used to like hang out and like eat like really sugary muffins from Costco, and then like take our shirts off and fucking hit each other with sticks to the fucking Killer Cut CD. I love that CD.
Okay, I know that's a healthy outlet to hit yourself with.
He was the other guy who
sticks.
I knew who loved Highlander in my life, so watch out.
Maybe it was really me in disguise.
Yeah, maybe it was you. Yeah, he was really into Remo Williams and Iron Eagle also.
How many Alexes you know? You're the first. Besides my co-host in college, I never told you about my college radio show before. I don't think I ever told you about that.
You've told me about it. Yeah.
Not okay. I have, but not into gory detail.
No.
I've only known 2 Alexes ever.
Yeah.
And the fact that I produce content with both of you is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
One, a weird college radio show we did for a couple of years, and now a weird podcast.
In the 90s,
on my channel.
Everyone in California was called Alex. It's like, I don't know.
Everyone was called Alex.
It's a very 90s name. Alex. Both. It's like unisex too. So it's like it's half. Like I meet a lot of Alexes everywhere, and half of them are women.
Well, that's really Alexandra though. That's not...
It's just, just Alex. Like everybody just goes by Alex. Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody goes by Alexander or Alexandra usually. Like that's a pretty foggy. That's a pretty Dexter Stuffins of a last name.
Dexter. If we can bring Dexter Stuffins into your lexicon,
yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah. Alexander is a little bit too Dexter Stuffins for me.
Dexter Stuffins hooked up with a young Whitney Houston, who was probably 21 years old, doing that episode.
That's
so it was a little uncomfortable because the actor was older. Huh?
Yeah, that's the wildest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Could you believe that? Because like, when did her album come out? 85.
Like the big one, the big one.
It was like 85.
Yeah, like had to be something like
I want
that.
to dance with somebody. You know, the big one that came out.
Maybe 87 at the latest.
No, because that was she's on Silver Spoons.
All right.
It was 85.
Yeah, there you go.
It was the one where she's dressed all regalry. What was it called? Whitney Houston. That was the album. The one that my sister played nonstop.
Yeah, self-titled.
So she blew. Yeah. That had "With Somebody Love Me." You know, that's the one
where she's got the and she's like,
"How will I know if he really loves me?"
With the necklace. Yeah.
Greatest Love of All. These are the hits. Greatest Love of All. How Will I Know? And then Saving All My Love for You, which she performed on Silver Spoons. She performed almost the entire song, and she did it at the studio. I could tell. It wasn't lip synced. I could tell from the mic,
it was like
listen
live.
to things, the echo. She was doing it live, and it was like, holy shit. And she did it in front of like just the show cast members, and like it was incredible. And like this is why she was on the show, I guess, but I don't know why she did the show.
Probably like demographics were just crazy in the 80s. Like it probably was like 30 million people watched that shit or some crazy number like that. Of people
that song, Saving All My Love. It's an incredible song.
Dude,
that not many people can sing.
There's like 8 or 9 singles off that album. I think like almost every song on that record like was released as a single eventually. That album.
No, not everyone, but
it's
like 3 or 4.
It's like fucking Thriller. You know what I mean? It's like one of those albums.
It's Thriller. It was the Thriller for.
I'm serious. I'm serious, dude. Okay, there's 7 singles on the album, and how many tracks are on the album?
No, there's 10 tracks. No, there wasn't 7 singles.
7 singles. I swear to God.
Don't count the B-sides. Just the A-sides.
Not B-sides. Hold Me, You Give Good Love, All at Once, Saving All My Love for You, Thinking About You, How Will I Know, and Greatest Love of All. I don't
remember Hold Me.
Hold Me is actually a Teddy Pendergrass song. That's a duet with her.
So Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, and Greatest Love of All were all in the Billboard Hot 100. Which made it both. This is from Wikipedia. Which made it both the first debut album and the first album by a solo female artist to produce 3 #1 singles in the U.S. That's like a breakthrough, like historically great album.
Yeah, this is like I said. It's like Thriller. It's like Off the Wall.
Yeah, but this was her first.
It's more like Off the Wall. It's more like Off the Wall.
This was her first album.
Yeah, we'll say Off
like,
the
this
Wall.
Was like no one knew her before this.
Yeah.
No one knew who she was.
Right. She didn't have
just a singer from Jersey.
She didn't have a pre-career with her 4 sisters.
Yeah, so she was born in 1963. So that means she was 22 on Silver Spoons. Yeah, she was young.
That's wild.
And so that album came out in February, which means between
came
February
out on Valentine's Day, which is amazing.
So in the 6 months before they probably filmed that episode, they probably filmed it in August or July or. They probably said, "Well, she's the new hotness. We got to get her on Silver Spoons."
So her record hadn't even dropped, is what happened.
No, it did drop. That it came out in February, and then that season was like fall of '85. That season 4,
right?
That she was on.
So
she was blowing up.
Yeah. So this was just a weird freak thing that she had a chance to be on there.
It was like, imagine if Michael Jackson showed up on like Different Strokes season 3.
He's on The Simpsons. He's on The Simpsons.
That's not the same thing, and you know it,
right?
Like I'm talking about, like when the peak of his career. If like when Thriller came out, if he went on some random ass sitcom,
it'd be like
he shouldn't be.
It'd be like if Harry Styles was on The Office. It's like really weird.
He went on Silver Spoons. It's like if he went if he went on Small Wonder.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson went on Small Wonder.
She reaches all the way up to hang his platinum record on the wall. Yeah, with her long ass arms.
What did we learn today on the Nuts Comic Podcast? We learned that Alex really cares about Trump supporters. He actually does.
I care about humans. I care about everyone.
And good barbecues.
The thing that's crazy about it to me is just like all that I want is for the world to be good for everyone and for everybody to have like a chill life. I'm not trying to get rich. I don't think I should be rich. I'm not rich. I don't think anybody should be very rich. I think that's good. I think that's
where people say you're a liberal cuck.
And I'm sure they're all just swimming
when you say
in money.
You say no one should be rich. That's where even I'll be like, what do you mean no one should be rich?
No one should be as rich as they are. Seriously. I think people should have a maximum cap amount, as much money as they have. And if you go to bat for rich people being able to have more money than you can physically comprehend in your mind, like what are you even? What are we even doing?
These are supposed to be short snippets. What we learned, but I guess it depends on what you define as rich.
Yeah.
Do you mean like you shouldn't own $100 billion, or you shouldn't be a millionaire?
Yes. You could be a millionaire. Okay. I think maybe there's no reason to have more than $500 million. Period. I can't
because after I sell these Game Boy games, I don't know what my net worth's going to be.
I can't think of one reason why you'd need $500 million as a human person, as a single person. Like,
I got to buy a sports team.
That's not a real thing. That's made up.
It's not made stuff. There's real sports teams.
How many people have bought sports teams ever? Maybe 1,000? We're just talking about crazy stuff. Everybody's dreaming that they're going to be rich. You're not going to be rich. You're going to be voting without information because eggs cost $20, and you're going to vote for the guy that makes eggs cost $30.
No. You're going to get rich if you buy that meme coin, that presidential meme coin. You're going to be rich. Trust me.
That's how it works. All the poor people get a bunch of money because a bunch of rich people put money in. That's how.
Get a second mortgage on your house and buy whatever they tell you to buy.
Remember the deal we made. Remember the deal we made about 1 week of just saying, "Did this help me or not, and why?" Just for a week.
Don't do that. Just pump your money into whatever coin.
Step into my shoes of worrying about you for a week. I worry about you more than you do, probably. Good Lord.
Is that what we learned today? It's supposed to be quick snippets. We learned that Silver Spoons really should have stopped after Jason Bateman was off the show in season 2. Really should have that should have been the last episode of the show. You just found out that Jason Bateman's talent actually was so vast that he killed Silver Spoons, is what you found out. He killed it when he left the show?
You found out that it was just too good.
He was on the promo image of the show. Like when you go up on Tubi and watch it, he's one of the people in the cast photo. Right. And he wasn't even in every episode.
Yeah.
It was like every other episode he was in. What else did we learn today, Alex?
Sorry, got distracted because it was an arson. The fire that happened during the filming of this podcast in Los Angeles.
Oh Jesus, we just had to start executing people on site.
What else?
Sorry. Is that too harsh?
I would say yes. I would say just as I'm not an attorney, but yeah, that's probably too harsh. What do we learn?
I am for shooting looters. If you show up my neighborhood with a band of people during a fire and you try to break into my house, I get to shoot you.
It's funny because Pat was like, don't be sad for the Trump people, but then he was like the guy left with his dick in his hands when the Max Exodus happened at his Star Trek Command Alliance. Like, you had to step in and be like, hey,
I had to be the adult.
The assholes who left you behind for greener pastures because you weren't useful to them anymore left you behind. I'm really sorry about that.
I didn't say it like that because I joined the alliance merger. I went to the powerful alliance.
Well, because it wasn't people's livelihoods. We're talking about Star Trek Fleet Command Alliance, or whatever the game's called.
Yes, you should treat people that are playing an MMORPG better than looters. You should absolutely treat them with more respect than looters.
Yeah, exactly. And what else did I learn? I don't know. I should have been buying Game Boy games this whole time, I think.
You should have been buying Game Boy games complete in box 15 years ago off Craigslist.
I don't know what I was thinking.
But not enough to make up to $500 million, since that's the cutoff for Alex, for how much money you should be able to own.
It's so far away from what you should expect yourself to have in this world that if you think that you need to step in and fight for your right to own $501 million, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy.
All right, so you're not a total commie. You're only half a commie.
I'm a complete commie.
No, you're not. Because if you're a commie, you should say
it's actually
you can't own $500.
The thing I think I care about the most, like that I would think I want more of, that people make fun of, is that I like socialism. Like, I think there should be. I think there should be more socialism. I don't think people actually know what it is who don't like it.
A sprinkling of socialism is fine. I mean, we have socialism stuff in this country.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think Social Security, Medicare is?
The post office is fucking socialist. Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I think that more people will be into socialism if they knew what it was. Let me just
say one more thing to those people that think that the post office should be run like a business and has to make a profit. I hope you don't. I hope you don't live in a major metropolitan area where it's cost inefficient to get you mail, because you won't get mail anymore. Like, it'll cost you $50 to send a fucking letter. If that goes into
what the fuck are you talking about? Like, who are you defending?
Do you know that it's a service? It's the post office service. It's not a business.
Like, who are you defending?
It's a service.
The small business owners that own the post office? Like, fuck off.
It's the same as the military. The military is not supposed to turn a profit. It's a government service. It's not supposed to be run like a business.
We're not gonna like turn. We're not gonna turn the post office over to like new people who like are gonna start new delivery businesses and like open up a new vector of income for Americans. It's just they want to hand it to a billionaire and make the service worse. How do you
The Environmental Protective Agency is not supposed to be a business to make money. It's supposed to protect us from poisoning ourselves and killing the planet.
And from the planet burning to death around us as we talk.
All right, we're going to end on that note. That just makes me laugh when people say things like that. Oh, the post office should be a business. It's like, no, it's not a business. That's not how it works.
The ridiculousness of any argument that I field against like simple things is just so depressing that I must imagine that that's what the other side is counting on, is just being insufferably impenetrable to the point that they watch me realize that I'm not going to get through to them because they just don't care. That's all.
They hate you so much.
They don't even hate me so much. They just don't care. They would rather just like do something else. Like that's all I'm fighting against. Like there's not like a boogeyman who wants to destroy America. It's just that.
I'm laughing not because I don't believe you in your heart that you believe what you're saying. I'm laughing at the futility of it and how naive you are thinking you're going to crack through.
I'm not naive. I just like, you have to say this. You have to be honest about why. Because if you're not, this is what dies. The guy who wants everybody to like do well and survive and actually cares about you, I'm the one who's going to be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I went through this with the whole Amico scam. I couldn't convince people not to support a fucking scam console.
And now it's gone gangbusters for him, and it's devastating.
So like that's a microcosm of what we're talking about. It's like trying to get through to people that are just they're so ingrained in it they'll never see another point of view ever. Like even if it's going to hurt themselves. That's what happened. That was the whole Amico saga in a nutshell. That's what it was. And I just laugh at it. I laugh at these people that were just idiots and lost money. Or lost their dignity more than their money. Because some people lost money that were innocent, but a lot of people lost their dignity about the situation. It is what it is. All right, we got to get going. That's what we learned. So stop that roach. Maybe I'll put it. If I don't sell it, Alex, I'll put stop that roach on my will for you.
Thank you, man. Will. I could really use that 6K when we finally all.
It's hey, this didn't lose 40% of its value in 2 days like the Trump coin did.
Right. It's actually a better purchase.
It's been a better investment.
Stop that roach for the Game Boy. You can buy that instead of a meme coin. You fucking just read before you spend the money. God.
All right. Talk to you later, everyone.
Bye.